Warm greetings from the high 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you so very much. This is live number 2 for this Monday evening. The last information I brought to you is pertaining to Ronnie Lawson. His son, Brandon Lawson, has been found guilty for improprieties of a child, attempted aggravated sexual battery. They do not disclose his age, the age of the child, or his relation to the child, but I just did that live. Feel free to go on the library queue to get that said information. This next information is pertaining to missing baby boy, Quinton Simon, 22 months old, out of Savannah, Georgia. I just got information that something has been found down there. That's all that I got. We will wait to see what it is that they found. Is it articles of clothing or the baby? Thank you for joining me. See, the queen didn't even have to leave her house and go trample down to Savannah, Georgia and act a damn donkey's ass to make a point of a video. And don't get offended. It is what it is. It doesn't take all that to bring content to a network pertaining to a child or any true crime story. Get my notes out because I had some things I wanted to discuss. Most of you probably have seen some videos circulating. I don't do the TikTok thing because I'm on social media enough with YouTube and looking up stories and dissecting information. And I'm sick of apps. I don't want my phone filled up with a bunch of apps that I know I'm not going to be using every day because it drains the phone storage when you have a bunch of apps running. But nonetheless, most of you have probably seen the TikTok video where this heifer is singing Leilani with her mother. The mother is talking about a new job in Chicago. She's talking about going to pick up another trailer in Savannah. You also see the baby boy caged up in a fencing area outside. She's sitting in a chair filming herself, and the other child is, I think, blowing bubbles. Then another scene shows the little baby Q walking over near what would be the step pawpaw. And she's showing a pic video of the truck and the trailer. Let's play that. Feel free to check out Evil Exists. He is the source of that TikTok video. I'm going to chop that up along with some other misgivings that I noticed about that video. I'm going to bring you my assertions of what I see in that video and what some of you should see when you watch the video. Thank you for joining me. There's no peace in the valley, indeed. One second. Thank you all so much. One second. I'll play you audio from that. She and her daughter sitting in a car. They seem to be having a grandmother-daughter moment. She kisses her daughter. They seem happy. So what happened between that video, when was it filmed, versus this mess that has transpired in the last month down there in Savannah, Georgia? What has happened? That's my baby. Try not to play too much of that music. They're kissing, hugging each other. She's filming the little boys outside. Zane, he's kind of big for 3. And then the little baby's behind the fence looking through like he's in jail. Interesting. A lot of toys in the background. To the sea. I was trying to be all cute with you. Now the little boy is outside with Papa, I believe, and she's showing a picture of the camper in her truck. Yes, she's impressed with herself. Of course she is.
Hi, everyone. So today has been exciting. I got a call to go to a job in Chicago. I am a pipe fitter welder by trade. I'm out of local Union 188. And so I drug up my job today, and I got to head to Savannah in the morning and get my other camper and head to Chicago Sunday. My anxiety level is like super high. I'm feeling crazy. But it's going to be a journey. So you guys stay tuned. I'll take you with me.
Sitting there looking like a child, Pippi Longstocking with 2 braids. I'm going to tell you what I saw when I watched this TikTok video. I always tell you all to pay attention to things because everything is in the details. 1, when was this video filmed? 2, where was she when she was filming inside this trailer? It's the last part of the video. Where was she in this trailer? Because she says in this video, it appears that she's in a trailer already. And she says, I got to go get my other trailer in Savannah. So where was she? On a job site, out of town? Where was she when she filmed that? How many trailers does she have? So you got more than 1 trailer, trucks, cars, a house. Get dysfunction in your house with your daughter, this boyfriend, and no concern for these children. As I titled the video, Blatant Disregard for Quinton. You hear them laughing and talking, singing. The daughter's letting her know I don't know the words. Kissing and hugging each other. A happy moment. Once again, when was that video uploaded? What year was that uploaded? Sitting in a chair outside filming the children. The older child's blowing bubbles and baby Q is fenced in, peeping through what I would call the looking glass, wanting to know why am I in here and you all are out there. And I get it. Smaller children run. They can get gone kind of quickly. God forbid if that area was near the swimming pool. I do not know because I didn't see the full view of this video to discern where the location of the pool is to where they were sitting. You also see a small child walking over to Papa at some point with no shirt on and just a pamper, I think, or shorts. And then he's also sitting behind that gate when she's filming in the chair, also no shirt. And then you also see her filming the truck and a camper. Very proud of herself. This is what I'm saying in this clip of videos that Evil Exists has posted. There's something wrong with these people. They're like the faucet. 1 minute you're turning on the cold water, next minute you're turning on the hot water. On and off, on and off. And 9 times out of 10, that was the relationship between these people. TikTok videos of her and her mom dancing, seeming happy, sitting here in the car, hugging each other, saying they love each other. Then the next minute, the mother's trying to put her out of her house, per reports that have now been released to the media. What is going on? The baby seems to be caged. You see, as someone said in somebody's chat, 2020 is hindsight. Yes, it is. Because maybe somebody walked up, didn't think no big deal about seeing that little boy back there caged up with that fence. But maybe there was more to the fencing. Could it be that baby Q was fenced up a lot? Checkmate. He was fenced up a lot. He was fenced up on the outside. He was fenced up on the inside in a plate pen. Is it possible that when they went outside to enjoy themselves, he rarely ran around. They kept him pinned up behind that gate. Because don't you think that little boy would like to be out with his brother? They're only a year or so apart, unless the boy, Zane, is turning 4 this year. That would put them at 2 years apart. So do the math. 22 months and a 3-year-old. Why aren't they playing together? You're sitting right there. Why not let the little small one out of the gate? And he's quiet in that video. He's just looking through the gate. And now that we fast forward to a child being deceased, one could wonder if he was locked up a lot in the fencing outside and also in the playpen inside. Did they leave the child fenced up regularly? Did he ever play with his 3-year-old brother? I wonder that. The fact that she mentions that she'll be going to Chicago for a new job, she told on herself. That's why I was asking for the date of this clip, because this puts into motion what I've been preaching about the past couple of days about the motive for taking in the children and applying for custody for the 2 children. Allegedly, she has custody of 2. One article says 1. I don't really know. I don't even really like testifying to anything about these people because you don't even know what you're dealing with. But nonetheless, I've asked this question days ago. When did she start working as a welder? Because that's going to show intention to filing the papers for custody of the children. Why would you file for custody when you knew you were not going to be at home to see the children? You were not going to be engaging with the children. And who's to say that she could have been working as a welder nearby, still coming home at the end of the evening, but disengaging with the kids, not being accessible to their needs? Because there's a reason she got custody of those kids, and I don't care what anybody says. There's a reason for that. Once again, where was she when she filmed in that trailer telling the world she got a job in Chicago? See, people don't think when they speak that there's always going to be a chance somebody's looking, lurking, watching everything in the background, looking how you live, looking at the furniture, the floor, the scenery. And now that the child is deemed dead, all this is going to come to fruition. These little TikTok videos, Facebook posts. The baby looking through a fencing. The baby walking around without a shirt on. Did you ever put clothes on baby Q? Because the 3-year-old had on clothes outside on that carport. But you got the baby fenced in, and I believe just what, diapers or shorts? Just curious. Just curious. We're getting information that's spreading around on YouTube pertaining to a DHS report. So I want to chop up what was said briefly. The mother was tested positive for the white girl. I want to know who tested her and in what were the circumstances for testing her for narcotics. Because you say she used it after giving birth to the baby, Sky. So I want to know who tested her and what was the circumstances for testing her. And did you know she had access to her children when she tested positive? See, none of this makes any sense to me because all this time with her children, one would assume she's been living in the house with her mother and stepfather and brother and this boyfriend. And naturally, all her children are not the same age. So she was with a different man each interval. So Sky's the last baby. One's going to assume, okay, she was with the boyfriend. But who was testing her and what were the circumstances? And the fact that you're saying she's been using throughout after giving birth to this last kid and still tested positive, then one would use the deduction she was tested here recently by the Department of Human Services when she filed this missing report of baby Q. And she's admitted to getting high after the pregnancy and thereafter. This is disturbing to me because I want to know why nobody knew she was still around her kids. And one might even question, did the parents ever really come home from their jobs? Or did they just let her have the house, her and the boyfriend? I don't know. Because I'm going to also bring you information, allegations of them fighting recently to where Leilani called the police on Billy Joe pertaining to dirty laundry. These people are stupid to me. Why did anybody know about the living arrangements such as DHS? And as I said, one commentary only says she had custody of Zane. Then another content says she had custody of both. So who does she actually have custody of? Why are we getting difference of article information? I was told earlier that the FBI recommended to the police department to arrest her. So why didn't you all arrest her? That's what was told to me earlier. That the FBI recommended an arrest of Leilani Simon. And they have not arrested her because I believe they want this body, which we get it. You want the body for common sense reasons. Forensics, autopsy, matter of death, prior abuse, and to lay the child in a proper burial. But you still got a mad person running around free. And it doesn't matter if she's hiding in that house or hiding in a fucking shed, she's still free. And if the FBI thinks a person should be arrested, by golly, I'm going to go with the latter. She should be arrested. And we didn't need the FBI to tell us this, because when you put it out that she was suspect number one and you believe the child dead, you were already giving us little chips and crumbs that something is terribly wrong down there. So why is she free? I also got information that Leilani had told Billy Joe that the baby daddy had picked him up. So see, this is where we go into the fishing game, as I told you in my live yesterday. Why I believe she would set him up, because she's all over the place in her commentary to authorities at the beginning of this 911 report. First, the doors open. Somebody came and took him. Then you told your mother the baby daddy came and got him. Then he wandered off. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? I just named at least 4 different versions of what happened to baby Q. So where do all those tie in to a landfill? I'll wait. Which is it? He wandered off and he walked to the landfill and just what? Buried himself in the rubble. The father came and got him and threw him in the landfill. Well, they said, police, he's been excluded as a suspect. Then somebody else came and took the baby. So what? They came and took the baby and threw the baby in the landfill, discarded the baby wherever. What do we say? But yet all these different versions, Leilani Simon, you gave to the police, but you're the only one that's the suspect. Now, explain to us why you are the only suspect. I'll wait. I've got a lot of time. Did the boyfriend go to work? Because I did bring you content saying allegedly he did go to work, but the babysitter says she saw him when she went to the house. So did he return? I've still got a question about that. And I did bring you information that allegedly there were pings said that he went to work. I'm starting to wonder if that is actually accurate, but if it's not, I will gladly clear that up as a discrepancy. Is it possible he told on her? That's why he allegedly left the scene. Savannah, Georgia, or wherever the hell they live. This story is like one of those stories where you can just add a little, take away a little. It's just spinning itself. There's no rhyme or reason to the story. It's just spinning itself. And the casualty is a baby boy. He's collateral damage. Everything else is just a toss-up. You either believe it or you don't. Did Danny Youngkin tell on her? Was he a participant in this crime to some degree of either participating in the orchestration, participating in the death, participating in the discarment, had knowledge of a discarment, had knowledge of the crime, but just didn't participate? And then he told on her. And then he said, I'm out of here. I've done my part. Now give me my baby. No, sir. We're not giving you no baby. You're not getting no baby, homeboy. You're not getting no baby. So you and Mama, Papa, whoever the hell your parents are, and it's not to be mean to them, but I don't really care about them either, because I don't feel like you did a good job raising that son, because no decent man would live in a house with a woman and her mother and father and Papa and stepdaddy and brother and Pookie and Ray Ray. You will be a provider, because we know most men make more money than women in certain fields. So there's really no reason for her to be living in the house with her mother. And you two allegedly disrupting the functionality of this house, which is called peace. And as we've learned in old hymns, Black folk churches, peace be still. Not with this group. Will we get charges against Billy Joe Howe? Please arrest her. Stop fiddling around down there. Arrest her. Arrest the daughter. And if you have something on that boyfriend, you arrest him too. Be done with this. See, this is why you've got this jacked up case. It's because when it was time and people were seeing stuff that wasn't right with these people, this girl, the kids wandering around playing in the ditch, it went on too long. And this is why we have missing children. We have dead children, because nobody says anything. Nobody does anything. And if they do say something, they're waiting on the state to do something. Then the state got to get up, send somebody, look, ask questions, bang on the door, look around, do a background check. They got to do all this stuff. And the kids may still be in the house, depending on the circumstances from when they get to the house. If it's so bad, they just take the kids out of there immediately. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Arrest Billy Joe, arrest Leilani, and if you have proof that this brother, this boyfriend, hell, the brother too. Let's talk about the brother. What is his role? What does he know? Does he actually stay there full time? Was he there Tuesday night into Wednesday morning when the child allegedly went missing? Thank you for joining me. Let's talk about this dysfunction in this house. For those coming into everyday shenanigans, I just received information that something has been found down there in Savannah, Georgia. I do not know if it is articles of clothing or the baby, but that's what was notified to me during my last live a little under an hour ago. So we will wait to see if indeed the child has been found or articles of clothing have been located. Thank you for joining me. Let's see what we can find about these people. The hell's been going on in this house? A lot of dysfunction. And how it came to be that baby Q is not around. Now my device is having issues. Okay. 1 second. No, the Lord is telling us you all are too dependent on those devices. WTOC 11 is the source. We're going to chop up. This is uploaded the 11th of October. What was really going on in that house with all these people?
The 1-year-old's mother reported a missing leg.
Oh, God. Now it stopped. Hold on, you guys. Circling.
Wednesday morning, and WTOC investigative reporter Max Deep Dive breaks down what we know so far.
Police have not revealed much about their investigation, so we got to work and requested as much information as we could get our hands on. Police and court records paint a picture of a tense, divided home in the weeks leading up to Quinton's disappearance. We know Quinton was living at his grandmother's home off Buckhalter Road with his mom, her boyfriend, and his 2 siblings. Quinton's grandma had sole custody of him and his oldest sibling. Let's start with this police report from September 7th. It shows Quinton's mom called police after a reported fight with Quinton's grandma over laundry. Quinton's mom did not press charges. The grandma told police on scene she was thinking about kicking her daughter and her boyfriend out of the home. The next day, September 8th, she followed through, filing this paperwork to evict the couple. She says her daughter got that paperwork 2 weeks later, around September 26th. Separately, 2 days after that, on Wednesday, September 28th, Chatham County Judge Lisa Colbert ordered Quinton's mom to start paying child support for Quinton and his older sibling. Again, Quinton's grandma had sole custody of both children. That order came exactly a week before Quinton disappeared. And then on October 5th, police say Quinton's mom reported him missing. Police say the boyfriend was the last one to see him around 6 a.m. that morning. Chatham County Police have not named any suspects in this case. Make sure to stay with WTOC for updates.
All right, everybody. As I told you, could this be the reasoning for the murder of the child? I do believe this is a premeditated crime. I do not believe this is an accident. Don't judge people from TikTok videos and Facebook posts, because people can post a picture smiling today and then jumped in the river tomorrow, murdered somebody tomorrow, because you don't know people. There's something off with this family. And as you heard in this commentary by the Chatham County Police Department, I have this copy of this report of them arguing on the 7th of September. So see, everything went down from September 7th up until October 5th. Stay woke now. 1 minute you're arguing over clothes in a laundry facility, washing machine. What happened? Did she come home from work and there were dirty clothes that Leilani and this boy are supposed to be washing? Was the house filled up with dirty clothes? What are we talking about? So Leilani called the police on Billy Joe. And we're going to briefly go over what was said. Just an incident report. 15:50 was the hour, 9/7/22. They're not strangers to one another. You're not a student. Primary aggressor, Hal Billy Joe. White female, 5'10" in height, 180 pounds. Blonde hair, hazel eyes, age 45. Was an act committed with children present? Yes. Was victim advised of available remedies and services? Yes. Ooh, this is just so ratchet to me. Then he goes on to ask all type of things such as action by the police. The box of number 3 says separation. 1 is arrest, 2 citation. So obviously the police action was what? Told them to separate, but I don't think that happened. That did not happen. Testimony evidence was given. It asks, how was primary aggressor identified? Indicate substance abuse used by primary aggressor. Drugs was not checked. Alcohol wasn't checked. Drugs wasn't checked. So she wasn't inebriated. Relationship of primary aggressor to victim. Let's see which box she checked. It says number 3, parent. Interesting. An adult was checked. Case active. 9/7/2022. Feel free to verify this information by WTOC News. This was a verbal altercation. No arrests were made. On Wednesday, 9/7/22 at approximately 1607 hours, I responded to a call for domestic dispute at 535 Buckhalter Road. Upon my arrival, I made contact with the complainant, identified as Leilani Simon. Leilani said her and her mother had an altercation regarding some clothes that were in the wash. Leilani said she removed her clothes so that her mother could use the washer. Leilani said they had a disagreement verbally about how things were, and she said her mother got in her face and shoved her. Ooh, interesting. Leilani said she hit a wall and felt that her elbow was red from the wall. Leilani said her 2 kids were around and said she called to put a stop to the issues between her and her mom, and she said she did not want her kids around that. Leilani's elbow was red, however, there was no signs of bruising. I made contact with the mother, identified as Billy Howe. Ms. Howe said she was having issues with her daughter, as she said she wanted to use her washer and it was in use. Ms. Howe said she was frustrated as she takes care of household and paid all of the bills. Ms. Howe said her daughter lives there, 2 kids, and the daughter's boyfriend. Ms. Howe said she got in an argument with her daughter, Leilani, and said after her daughter screamed at the top of her lungs in her face, she shoved her. Leilani said she was on probation and did not want the conflict to escalate and said that's why she called. Leilani said she did not want her mother to face charges. Leilani was advised she should go to the courthouse and attempt to get warrants taken out if she wished. Leilani said she understood. Ms. Howe's son came to pick her up to remove her from the situation. Now, which son is that? Is this their estranged son or Paul, who's allegedly supposed to be staying at the house? Very interesting information, everybody. Ms. Howe agreed to separate from the situation for some time to avoid conflict. Ms. Howe says she may have to evict them. Ms. Howe's son advised that his mother was tired, as he said the daughter has a history of stealing from the mother and buying drugs with that money, and says the problem goes back very far. Ms. Howe left the scene with her son for at least a few days. End of report. BWC activated. Reporting officer Matthew J. Uhas. It shows Quinton's mother called police after report domestic dispute with his grandmother. Quinton's mother did not press charges. Quinton's grandmother told police on the scene she was thinking about kicking Leilani and the boyfriend out of the home. The next day, on the 8th September, she followed through with filing paperwork to evict the couple. Now remember, this is the 7th when this took place. On the 8th, she followed through with the paperwork. Sorry, my screen's frozen. Hello, everybody in the chat. No, I did not. For some reason, I cannot get this stuff to come up. They also, I don't know why this article won't roll out for some reason. Let me see if this will pull up. I'm gonna have to go back. For some reason, I'm having a problem with this article for some reason. They won't show anything. Okay, here we go. I got so much to bring you. Lord have mercy. Hello, everybody.
Chatham County top.
Sorry.
Has been missing for over a week, now believed to be dead.
Chatham County Police say the evidence they have gathered led them to making this decision. The 1-year-old's mother, Leilani Simon, is also now the prime suspect. Tonight, our live team coverage continues with investigative reporter Max Deeknight, Camille Syed, and Shay Schrader.
We begin with Max, who joins us live outside the home where Quinton was last seen. Max, you've looked into Quinton's mother's past. What did you find?
Hey, John and Mike, as you mentioned, Leilani Simon, Quinton's mom, is now the lone suspect in his death, according to Chatham County Police. So we wanted to look into her past and see if she had any criminal history. Here's a look at what we found. While she doesn't have a criminal record here in Chatham County, we were able to find charges in North Carolina. In fact, she has a felony charge in North Carolina. Last November, she was arrested in Dunn, North Carolina, where she was living. That's in Harnett County, north of Fayetteville. She was charged with felony larceny by an employee. Now, that's after she stole from her employer. It was a small amount of money, but any amount of theft in North Carolina is an automatic felony. Now, we also wanted to take a look back at some of the key events here at this home that led up to Quinton's disappearance. Here's a look at that timeline. Police and court records paint a picture of a tense, divided home in the weeks leading up to Quinton's disappearance. We told you about this police report from September 7th. It shows Leilani Simon, Quinton's mom, called police after a reported fight with Quinton's grandma. But listen to these new details. The report shows Leilani told police she was on probation at the time. Her mother told police that Leilani had a history of stealing from her and buying drugs. The next day, September 8th, Leilani's mother filed paperwork to evict her and her boyfriend. She says her daughter got that paperwork 2 weeks later, around September 26th. And on Wednesday, September 28th, Chatham County Judge Lisa Colbert ordered Leilani to start paying child support for Quinton and his older sibling. Quinton's grandmother had sole custody of both children. That order came exactly a week before Quinton vanished. Finally, on October 5th, Leilani reported her 1-year-old son missing. She told police her boyfriend was the last one to see him around 6 a.m. that morning. 1 week later, police named Leilani as the lone suspect.
Information you've probably already heard. So in the state of North Carolina, it doesn't matter what you steal, what the value of the item is, it's considered a felony, which I think is ridiculous. $20 out of a register, 80-cent candy bar from Walmart will land you a felony. But this is the dirty South, and they have strict rules. Georgia has very strict rules according to sexual assault, rape, especially within between teenagers, adults and teenagers, adults and school-aged children. North Carolina has stiff laws pertaining to marriage. You cannot just file divorce from your spouse. You have to be legally separated for a year, for those who did not know this. In order to file paperwork for divorce from your spouse, you have to legally show you have not been living with your spouse for 1 year. I knew someone who was going through a divorce. There was a story she spun, and it was a harrowing tale trying to get this person away from her, out of her home. And she went through a lot legally with this person in court, dealing with his family, children, and she was the biggest loser because of the state of North Carolina. So as you see in this report, $20 will land you as a felon in this state for stealing. Very interesting information. This is pertaining to the developments of court today. Let's see what they have to say. It was uploaded 50 minutes ago. Thank you for joining me.
That's for the news at 5. I'm Dawn Baker.
And I'm Mike Seeley. The woman police say is the prime suspect in the death of her 20-month-old boy appeared in Chatham County Court today. It was about the custody of her other 2 children.
WTOC was the only news station in the hearing. Our Shay Schrader was in the courtroom.
The grandfather of one of Leilani Simon's other children drove 4 hours to be at today's hearing, saying it's incredibly important to him to support his grandchild. He says the safety of that grandchild is at the top of his mind, knowing that the child's mother is the suspect in the death of one of her other children. Leilani Simon arrived to the Chatham County Juvenile Courthouse today wearing a face mask and a dress and took a seat next to her lawyer. On the other side of the bench was her mother, Billy Howell, who had custody of Quinton before he disappeared and still has custody of Leilani's oldest child. The 2 sat with their lawyers between them and didn't have much interaction. There were roughly 10 other family members in the courtroom today. There were also a lot of police both in the courtroom and outside of it. WTOC was the only news outlet at today's hearing. We requested to have a camera in the courtroom, but that request was denied. Judge Thomas Cole said it was to protect the privacy and safety of the children involved. The courtroom was also sealed from the public, and we had to leave before the bulk of the hearing started. The people that were allowed to stay in the courtroom also weren't allowed to tell us anything regarding the case because they're under a gag order. To be clear, today's hearing wasn't a criminal matter. It was pertaining to the custody of Leilani Simon's other 2 children, Quinton's siblings. We do know that legally, hearings like today's have to happen 3 days after an emergency order to remove a child from a home or DFACS requesting a child be removed from a home. We did ask for any records pertaining to today's hearings, but were denied because the hearings were closed to the public. Leilani Simon is the only suspect in the disappearance and presumed death of Quinton Simon, though she hasn't been charged with anything. I did reach out to the Chatham County Police Department to see if they had any updates in the search for Quinton Simon, and they told me they didn't have anything to share. Reporting in Chatham County, Shay Schrader, WTOC News.
WTOC has been following this case very closely. To take a look at all of the past stories we've covered and read up on the latest on the investigation, you can head on over to our website, WTOC.com. Just look for the Quinton Simon tab under the news section.
All right, everybody. Information by WTOC 11 if you need verification for this information. So she and her mother showed up to court with attorneys. Now, we have heard that when you're dealing with custody rights with children, that the state will offer you an attorney. So did the state of Georgia offer both the mother, biological mother, and Billy Joel individual attorneys? Because it says here that attorneys were sitting between, the attorneys. So were they granted attorneys by the state, or Billy Joel hired attorneys for she and her own daughter? Or Billy Joel hired her own and Leilani was given an attorney by DHS. I don't know. Closed to the public, no information to be revealed, no cameras allowed. And now a gag order for the participants in this case. Let's see how that works out. Why do I have a feeling this will mirror Summer Wells? Somebody is still going to take to Facebook and TikTok and talk. Because you heard it here. There is a gag order now. So no one is allowed to speak about the civil wranglings of this case pertaining to baby Q. Very interesting information. Will she continue to let the daughter stay in the house? Because this is very interesting information. Very interesting information. I want to try to finish reading what I was reading to you guys about that incident that got this ball started. And then we're also going to bring you information pertaining to Billy Joel speaking out over the weekend via social media. Thank you all for joining me. I read you briefly the police report from the 7th of September, which I believe got the ball started with this craziness between this family. Once again, the police report starts on September 7th. Make sure I read everything. Billy Joel deemed the aggressor. It shows Quinton's mother called police after reported domestic dispute with his grandmother. Quinton's mother did not press charges. Quinton's grandmother told police on the scene she was thinking about kicking her daughter and boyfriend out of the home. The next day, on the 8th of September, she followed through filing this paperwork to evict the couple. She said her daughter got that paperwork 2 weeks later, around September 26th. Separately, 2 days after that, on Wednesday, September 28th, Chatham County Judge Lisa Colbert ordered Quinton's mother to start paying child support to Quinton and his older sibling. And I have that here where it shows genetic testing not required. Paternity has been previously established. Parents are married and no one has rebutted the presumption. The named father signed an acknowledgement of paternity and does not wish to undergo testing. And the defendant is the biological mother of the children. So it shows the mother of the children, Quinton, Simon, and Zane Wharton. Income and guidelines. DCSS. And this is pertaining to this order incorporates by specific reference the court's own worksheets and schedules along with any and all findings of fact made on them as they were fully set forth herein. Worksheets and schedules were submitted by the following, and DCSS is the culprit of filing this paperwork. Now, all boxes are checked for income. Income was imputed for the following persons. Father, that box was checked. Mother was checked. The court finds that the above persons are capable of earning at least minimum wage. The court finds that the monthly gross income of the father is $1,257, and the monthly gross income of the mother is $1,257. Reasons for deviation from the guidelines. Unless otherwise noted below, all reasons for deviation are listed in the attached worksheets and schedules. The court did not deviate from the presumptive child support amount, or that's what's checked. They didn't deviate from the presumptive child support. Each has to pay 50%. Shows here, according to the court calculation, The father shall be responsible for 50% of any unreimbursed medical, and also for the mother, 50% of any reimbursed medical. Amount of current support. Dependent shall pay $150 per month as current support for 2 children, starting on November 1st, 2022, and continuing to the child of each respective child attains age 18, dies, marries, or becomes emancipated, provided that said support shall continue. And it says child support, several lines below, has been determined for 2 children in this case. When there is or 1 children for whom child support is owed, the defendant shall pay $100 per month beginning the due date of the next child support payment. Then it says when there is only 1 children for whom child support is owed, the defendant shall pay, and that line is blank, per month beginning on the due date of the next child support payment. When there is only blank, that line's blank. Child support owed, the defendant shall pay, once again, blank, per month. So they set it at, I guess, $150 originally to start on the 1st. And if there was only 1 child, it would be $100. So I'm wondering if this $1,257 is the total amount for both parties, that he is the only one working or was working at the time. Because I find it interesting that both have the same amount at the $1,257. It also shows that no past due child support was on the books in this document. Quinton's grandmother has sole custody of both children. This was at this time when this was written. That order came exactly a week before Quinton disappeared. Chatham County Police said Quinton's mother reported him missing October 5th. They said her boyfriend was the last one to see him around 6 a.m. Police have not named any suspects in the case. WTOC. This is older content, which we know she has now been named the sole suspect in this story. So I've brought you information pertaining to TikTok videos. What led up to the mother wanting to put them out of her house, Billy Joe. The daughter originally filed a police report, which I find strange. You call the police because you're on probation for a $20 theft from North Carolina, assumingly, but yet you don't want to press charges against your mother. The police recommends that they separate. So Billy Joe's son comes and picks her up, and she goes away for a couple of days. Well, what happened to the stepfather? Where was he? And where did he go? Did he also join them? This is strange to me. The son picks up the mother, but you hear no mention of where the hell the father went, the stepdaddy. They're arguing over her washing clothes, and Billy Joe wants to wash. Well, damn, Billy Joe, you know if you ain't got but one washing machine, the cycle can only spin one load of clothes at a time. And you knew that because it's your house. And you know you got all these people living in there. You should have had more than one washing machine. This is ignorant. So is this an issue of what? You came home, lots of clothes sitting around, they're piled up. You're aggravated at how your house looks. You wanted to wash your clothes, and you can't because she's got the washer tied up. Well, that should be expected considering you do have other people living in your house besides yourself, even while you're gone away on your job with your husband. You should know that she's going to have clothes to wash because she's there, the boyfriend's there, and 3 small children are there. And if she's ornery and lazy, she's possibly not washing the clothes to keep them from being piled up. So was that the issue? Clothes were piled up, you got annoyed, you came home, saw all this debris, and it pissed you off because you couldn't get your clothes into the washing machine. 2, why didn't Leilani press charges against Billy Joe for shoving her into the wall? 3, does this happen often? them fighting each other, arguing, fussing, pushing each other into the wall. So much for singing on TikTok videos. Now we're pushing and shoving one another, cussing and fussing and screaming at the top of our lungs. This is why some people don't need to be living with one another. And when you are grown and pushing out babies from your kitty cat, you should have your own damn place. How about that? I do not believe that people just slumming off their parents. Some may disagree with me, but this is the reason why. This case here is a prime example why some grown people cannot live together. And I do not believe in a woman living in a house with a man in her parents' house. It's disrespectful. And I don't know how you can go to your parent and say, hey, can I stay here with my lover? Hell no, you can't. Because you got to remember, if she has a 3-year-old and she's 22, that means she gave birth at 19. Somewhere in there, depending on her birth date. So therefore, you were having sex under the age of 19. And you've had 3 children back to back. 3 different baby daddies. And you got the nerve to go ask your mother, can you live in her house with 3 children and a man? And he should feel some type of way to even be in the damn house with her and not paying no damn bills. But to each his own. But I do not agree in this type of behavior because this is how people get used. So no matter what you think of Billy Joe, it's still a child using their parent. And they use that babysitter, both of them, Leilani and Billy Joe, used Diana McCarter. And McCarter obliged them. Because once again, at some point, she had to have known these people were chaotic and she should have bowed out in dealing with them. Because now nobody is supposed to be talking about this case. And I also wonder who showed up in the courtroom. Because they did say that there were other family members in the court today. So who all showed up? Who all was summoned to court to speak? What was the rendering today? Or is this a continued situation? And due to the fact that there's a baby lying somewhere out here in debris in the earth, maybe they continued it. I do not know. But this is a sad, sad situation. Billy Joe has decided to give a brief commentary pertaining to Baby Q. Thank you for joining me. Oh, Lordy, what a mess. And also, you did hear that one of the grandfathers showed up to the court. I don't know if that's Zane's grandfather or Sky's grandfather that came. Not really sure. Tensions run high. Quinton Simon update. Grandma breaks her silence after heated row with babysitter who blasts her and reveals her truth. October 16th is the release of this information. The Sun is the source. The grandmother of Quinton Simon, the missing boy presumed dead by cops, has broken her silence after an altercation with the boy's babysitter. Little Quinton Simon mysteriously vanished from his home in Chatham County, Georgia, October 5th. You also see a picture of the Billy Joel standing over Diana while Diana is sitting in a recliner. Also a caption of Diana going live. A picture of Billy Joel and Baby Q when he was smaller. Quinton's grandmother, Billy Joel Howell, appeared to have shared a post over the weekend before deleting her Facebook profile. Very interesting. We're welcoming prayer and kindness in our yard that shows hope for Quinton. We love him and are completely devastated. The gifts for him give us hope in humanity. Hal and Quinton's babysitter, Diana Michelle Carter, got into an alleged altercation that was captured on video. McCarter has spoken out about the incident, offering her version of the story. The reason she barged into my house is because I offered to cook for her to put flyers out, McCarter said in a Facebook video from October 11th. I don't understand why it made her so mad. She told me I was overstepping because I was just the babysitter. If my child or my grandchildren was missing, I would want any and everyone to help me. I know I did contact the grandmother a lot via text or calling because she had custody. She did barge into my house and she did get mad because she said I was putting up a memorial for her grandson. I never said that. I didn't know getting some people together praying for Quinton was putting up a memorial. I didn't know that cooking her food was overstepping my boundaries. I thought that's what you should do when a family is going through something. These babies didn't come to me every day with bruises. Quinton did have bruises, but he also fell a lot because he ran. I wasn't there. I don't know if his mother beat him or gave him them bruises. All I know is that when he was here, he was taken care of. The right people knew what was going on. It was up to them to fix it. Howard reportedly burst into McCarter's house and accused her of taking the missing toddler. The grandmother is also heard screaming, "My baby's not dead," after McCarter spoke about creating a memorial. The shocking footage was recorded by McCarter's daughter and passed to local news channel WSAV. Howe, who reportedly has custody of Quinton 20 months, and his baby sitter McCarter accused each other of lying. At one point, McCarter dares the grandmother, "Hit me, hit me." And Howe replies, "Do you think I would do that?" She then shouts to McCarter, "Do you have Quinton? You're the only one who can go in my house and take him," quote unquote. The footage emerged after McCarter revealed she received an odd text hours before little Quinton vanished in Savannah, Georgia, October 5th. She said Quinton's mother, Leilani Simon, messaged telling her she was not needed to look after the toddler and his brother. McCarter told WSAV, "I got a text saying they would not be here. I would not be babysitting them at 5:29 a.m., which was kind of odd because I have them when she doesn't work." She added, "And then I get a text at 9 a.m. saying, 'Have I seen Quinton?' I immediately go to their house. I try to help them look. They did not want that. So I've just been waiting around like everybody else. My heart is broken. I'm not his mother. I'm not his family, but I love him very much. And I just don't know what could happen." Quinton's been missing since October 5th. However, this week, Chatham County Police Department revealed that they now believe he is dead. As you know, our investigation over the last 8 days has led us to heartbreaking conclusion that 20-month-old Quinton Simon is deceased, Chatham County Police said. "We have named his mother, Leilani Simon, as the primary suspect in Quinton's disappearance and death. We have not made an arrest or filed any charges in this case. The toddler's family had been informed of the latest developments," police said. Despite their initial findings, cops insisted that the search for Quinton will continue. It will continue with every available resource we have in order to give Quinton's family closure and see that justice is served in this case, the department said. Before his disappearance, Quinton lived with his mother, boyfriend, his grandparents, and 2 other children in Savannah, according to Fox 5 Atlanta. He was first reported missing at 9:40 a.m. on October 5th, saying that he had been in his playpen just hours before. Last seen in a Sesame Street t-shirt and black pants. FBI has been involved in this investigation. The Sun is the source. So I've brought you several sources of information pertaining to now. The grandmother saying absolutely nothing. That you're welcome to come in the yard and blah, blah, blah. Well, why are you wanting people to do that when you didn't even care about the little boy in the first place? Because Billy Joe, had you done your due diligence, we would not be talking about this story. There wouldn't be agents from all over the United States in Savannah, Georgia. There would not be people collecting information, data, executing search warrants, naming your daughter as the suspect for killing this baby. We'd be talking about something else. You never cared. You're like a lot of people. You're selfish. You're self-serving. You're narcissistic. You're a power whore. 9 times out of 10, your husband doesn't even have a say-so in that house. Because I find it strange. Your son came and got you while you and the daughter are having a row. There's no mention of where the hell your husband was. And I often wonder if you actually stayed in that damn house. Because when you're gone away, you got a camper, you don't really have a reason to return. You'd only be saving money by staying in a camper while working as not to pay hotel fees. And who wants to stay away from their job weeks at a time? Most people want the comfort of their house, enjoy coming home, feeling the heat and the air, smelling the aroma of whatever the hell's going on in their house. And I'm sure your house probably didn't smell too good, because I was looking in the background of one of those videos that was uploaded. And there's a lot of debris on counters. And you probably didn't have a fresh aroma in your house. You probably didn't have spick and span floors, clean rooms, bathrooms. Nobody probably cleaned the bathtub or the toilet. Shit spilled everywhere. Nobody's washing clothes. Dirty rugs everywhere. Dirty furniture. But that was your choice because you didn't have to have your daughter and those children and the boyfriend living there. But we also know that this daughter is irresponsible. So this was going to be an accident in the making, no matter where she lived, unfortunately. And in the end, Baby Q paid the piper. Collateral damage. It was going to be mayhem either way. Thank you all for joining me. For those coming into this live, as I said, I got information during my last live that something's been found down there in Georgia. I do not know if it's articles of clothing or the child himself. When I get the said information, I'll bring it to you as per the source and or the news. What have they found down there? Have they found the remains of Quinton Simon? I'm going to read what was sent to me earlier. Once again, still got to get a little bit of more information about Danny and this work scenario. Him going, when he returned, blah, blah, blah. Hundreds of calls were complaining that the police didn't work this case on Saturday. Some of you nitwits have been going off on these people down there in Georgia, calling the police department, cussing them out, talking about your tax dollars are not being used properly to work this investigation. They had hospitals and rehab facilities calling in and making complaints at their establishments. These people were saying that YouTubers were calling them and demanding information if the baby killer was in their care. Let me read that again because I missed that. Hospitals and rehab facilities calling in and making complaints at their establishments were being harassed by YouTubers, and they're following demanding information if the baby killer was in their care. What the hell is wrong with you people? Didn't you get enough with Gabby Petito and Summer Wells? Why are you people calling rehab centers? Because you don't know where she is? You don't see her sitting out sunbathing at the house? Oh, well, you're out of line. And some of you condone this barbaric behavior. I know this girl's not going anywhere because she doesn't have any resources to go anywhere. She's codependent. She's an addict. She can't make it on her own. So she's not going to run anywhere because to run, you have to have somewhere to go. 2, you have to have resources to run. She ain't that type of chick. So I ain't worried about her going anywhere. I get it. We want her arrested, yes. But she ain't going anywhere. As you see, she showed up for court today. She doesn't have anywhere to go because, once again, she's codependent. She's a baby maker. Billy Joe has been enabling her possibly all her life on and off, neglecting her too, because we do know that she lost her children. For how long, I do not know. Who had them, I do not know. When she got them back, I do not know. Is she trying to play catch up with helping her with these children? She didn't do a good job. If this is a guilt trip, she still failed her kid. And now her kid is on the chopping block as a baby killer. And you messy ass people need to stop calling people. Who gives you the right to just start going on and on? Yeah, I get it. You want her arrested. But you're calling other places, looping them into this mess. What does a rehab center have to do with Leilani? What does the hospital have to do with it? That girl ain't in no hospital and that girl ain't in no fucking rehab. So why are you calling these people harassing them? You people are sick to me. And then you jump on your channels wanting to show stuff like you're fucking, somebody said, Diane Sawyer. And you're not. No Walter Cronkites. Man, grow up. If this is what you want to show on your channel for the content, harassing just innocent people who don't have anything to do with this girl, don't even know this girl. So you don't have any reason to be calling these people. Whoever's calling, I'm not calling anybody's name. Whoever you are, you know who you are. Because 9 times out of 10, there's possibly random people doing it as well. Leave those people alone down there in Georgia. Stay away from that babysitter's house. Stay away from that house of horrors where the little boy then fucking was probably murdered. Just leave them crazy ass people alone. Stop calling random people that you don't even know have anything to do with this girl. She's free. Don't you get it? She's free. So why are you calling all these other places to see if she's there? She just showed up in court today. So that means she's free. You didn't see her get taken off in handcuffs by the police. She wasn't wearing a jumpsuit. So that means she's free. So why are you calling these other places harassing them? Man, you people are really desperate for to put stuff on your channel just to show. And then you other crackpots that sit at home all day watching TV and scrolling through your phone looking for stuff like you're a fucking investigator. Man, you need to go take a walk. Go walk your dog. Some of you got animals. Go walk your pets. Take your pets to the pet zoo or to the dog park. Go find something else better to do. Because you're not helping the case. And we learned this with Summer Wells. Earhart told you, you're meddling. You're causing problems. Stop. And I was also told today that the FBI has told some of you YouTubers, leave those people alone down there at those houses. Stop harassing their fucking neighbors. Get a grip. Nobody wants this chick free. We get it. But when you're harassing neighbors, stalking people in the storyline, it's disrespectful. Because in the end, you're not credited. You don't have credentials. And even if you have credentials, you don't have a right to keep bothering people. And if you see they don't want to be bothered, then leave them alone. You don't have any business bothering these people. And one of you really need to get a grip because you look sick out there in front of that courthouse. You're looking frail and mighty thin, hair thin. Yeah, I'm going to call it out because it's ridiculous. You look like you're 2 minutes from being in a hospital your damn self. So while you're sitting up here fucking with these hospitals and rehabs and calling these people, harassing them, you might need to check yourself into a damn rehab or a hospital and get yourself some care because some of you looking a little peaked out there. You ain't looking too well. You're sitting here busting your vein about this kid when maybe you should be taking care of your own damn self. Maybe you should be taking care of your own health. How about that? Because guess what? Self-preservation is first, Miss Lady. And you other little dodo birds out there, some of you don't care anything about these children. You never cared about Gabby Petito. You never cared about Summer Wells. And you don't care about Quinton Simon. So stop the nonsense. And the Google birds that's falling in behind you, you all need to get a grip too. Because I don't know why you think this is adequate behavior. Because let me tell you right now, for some of you goofy ass people, if somebody right now started hanging out in front of your lawn and banging on your windows and porch, and showing up to your job because your son was accused of sexual assault or murder or rape, you'd feel some type of way. You'd feel some type of way. You'd be the first one crying on Facebook Live into the news. I didn't do anything. Why are you bothering me? Why are you harassing me? I don't have anything to do with it. Okay, so put the shoe on the other foot and realize there's a way of doing things. And you all are not certified reporters. You have not gone to school for journalism and broadcasting like the Queen went to college, didn't graduate. But I had my own radio program, and you don't see the Queen running around putting microphones and cell phones in people's faces like some fucking nut bag. Oh, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber. You think people care that I'm a YouTuber? They don't care. Why would they care? Nobody cares. You may have 1% of people that are actually interested that you actually know that know you're up here doing this. A lot of people don't give a flying fuck about a YouTuber. Most people don't even watch the news. They don't even know what's going on in their own damn town. And exactly, you're not helping the investigation because you deter the investigation when you start meddling and rambling with strangers. Because see, they're already working a case. It doesn't help local officials when they start getting all these calls for complaints, people being called that somebody's harassing and stalking them. So now they've got to send out officers to investigate what the hell these people are complaining about. You're running in front of courthouses and people's homes. Now they have to send officers out to diffuse that situation if indeed the police gets involved. You're taking away resources that don't need to be running around chasing wannabe superstars. You people are irrelevant. You're 1%ers. You're 1% of what goes on in the world. 10 billion people on the earth or more, you're 1% of that population, meaning you are irrelevant. A non-motherfucking factor. I said that. Let these people do their job. We may not agree with what is going on, but nonetheless, I do believe arrest is coming soon. So let them do their job. Because at some point, those neighbors are going to get tired of random people just approaching them at their door, coming in their inboxes, whatsoever. It's intrusive. And they don't know you. And you don't know them. And I've got this funky feeling that one day it's going to be a story, whether it's this one or another one, and one of you little broke-ass YouTubers are going to be running around chasing somebody in their inbox, running up to their door, running up to their car, running up to where they work, and you are going to get the bang of your life. You are going to get the bang of your life. They're not going to say anything to you. They're not going to argue with you. They're just going to shoot your ass. Because you're going to meet the wrong one day, and they're not going to argue with you. They're not going to let you get 2 words out. They're going to blow your damn brains out. Because you don't know people. And when you're dealing with true crime, you always have people who will enable the perpetrator. So you need to be very careful banging on people's doors, hanging out in front of people's lawns and jobs. You don't even know who you're dealing with out here. You don't know anything about these neighbors. You don't know who actually like Billy Joe and her daughter. And you'll be stupid enough to sit up there and be all in their face, and they may play along with you. Oh, yeah, I heard, that they were terrible people. Come on in. I got some iced tea to give you, some sweet lemonade. And you carry your stupid ass on up in there. And next thing we know, ain't nobody heard from y'all ass. Did that ever occur to you? You might get hoodwinked and get brought up in somebody's house and don't bring your ass up out of there. All because you want 5 minutes of fame on your little YouTube channel. You people better wake up. This ain't no joke out here. Somebody in that neighborhood got a kid gone. So why are you thinking you can be so friendly with a bunch of strangers in that town? You don't know nothing about them people there, just like you didn't know nothing about the people in Florida, and you don't know nothing about them fucking people in Rogersville. And the people in Rogersville have shown you what they're about, because they didn't rally very tough for Summer Wells. You don't find that strange? Since some of you think you know every damn thing. You don't find that strange that nobody really rallied for that kid? They weren't out every day. They weren't standing at the end of the driveway of the Wells. They weren't putting up posters. They weren't putting up flyers. They wasn't doing what most people do in small towns and big towns when people are missing. Ding, 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 ding. But you want to come fly down all of 5-6 months later and push your breasts out like you're doing something important. Read between the lines. Everybody ain't on board with rallying for missing children, missing people. A lot of times, people just aren't interested. And it sounds cruel, but it is what it is. You can't make people interested in a storyline. And running around stalking random people in a neighborhood and through their Messenger, TikTok accounts is pushing it. because now there's a gag order. So anybody that's directly affiliated with Boy Q cannot talk. Will they speak? Possibly, because some people now got a penchant for speaking on Facebook Lives and going to YouTubers. And this is why they tell you not to do it in the beginning, because now a gag order has been issued pertaining to the custodial rights of the grandmother, the mother, and these children. So now these parents can't talk. Whoever they called in the court can't talk. And I also wonder, was Miss McCarter called in as an eyewitness? We won't know unless she breaks the gag order and speaks, if indeed she's one of the participants that was called in the court today. Some of you are just foul and just so desperate for a story. And we used to hear of this behavior from some reporters, paparazzi, but you all are random people. And those paparazzi reporters, they're random people too. They just have a name bigger than yours. But nonetheless, you got to know your lane. And stalking people, it's not going to help. Because now nobody's supposed to be talking. So who are you going to go now call and talk to? How long are you going to keep standing out in front of this property? And by law, Billy Joe has the right to have you all hauled off if you're anywhere near the property, stalking around the property. She can make up all kinds of things. Hey, there's some strange people out here. I don't know what they want. They're threatening me. You all are not bright. You all are not bright at all. Leave those people alone down there. Because you haven't brought anything to the table worth anything. Because in the end, did you get Billy Joe on camera talking about what the hell happened to that baby? Can you get Leilani on the camera to talk about what happened to that baby? You can't get Billy Joe to speak, and you can't get Leilani to speak. Then what's your storyline? That's the point. Get us a story with those two talking. Get one of these brothers on camera speaking about what went on in that house. Who was sleeping in the house the night the baby got missing? Why they think the child is dead? Do they believe their sister killed the baby? That's a story. But the neighbors are going to get tired of you coming around. And at some point, they're going to start getting jiggy. And they're going to realize, oh, they're a YouTuber. Oh, they get paid. Oh, they're monetized. Shit, I want some money. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, cut me a check. You got a couple $100, I'll talk to you. So in the end, you're going to get bamboozled and hoodwinked. And then you're just going to have to start paying people to speak on your little iPhone for a YouTube video. And then once people know you're paying the people, you don't even know if what they're telling you is the damn truth. Honey, find you something to do. You're in the wrong playhouse, baby. You should focus on the story. How about that? See, that's the problem right there. Somebody doesn't have a life and don't have nothing to do with their time, but sit up in people chats talking about absolutely nothing. Because in the end, this is about a kid. And if the dead could speak, the dead would be saying, I ain't concerned about no YouTuber, and I ain't concerned about nobody talking about nothing. I want somebody to find my little body to get justice and get me to a proper burial. How about that? Because in the end, all this is fluff. There's a child out there that needs justice. And there's a child out there that needs to be found. All this other stuff is just ignorant behavior. You're not helping with anything. And just like this dodo bird here, you're on the same level as these fools. 1%ers doing absolutely nothing. You're not the press. So you can't say free speech. You're just a random person running around talking about absolutely nothing. And I don't believe in stalking people and bothering people. Because like I said, you don't know these people. You don't know the child. You're not related to these people. So what are you actually gaining by stalking these people and wreaking havoc? You're not doing anything. Because as I said, if it gets to a point where it becomes violent, somebody gets assaulted, now they have to take resources from the city to come out to a house or a structure or a building to see what the hell you all done got wrapped up into. And right now, we don't need anybody off the case, running around the city in drama. So if you think that's good behavior and that's helping find this little boy, that means you're delusional. And you're not even worth talking to either. Yes, they should. You don't have to fear for your life for it to be considered stalking. Stalking is what it's called, stalking. Just because you think it's right doesn't give you a right to do it. That's not the law. You have no right to keep bothering people. Stalking is just what it is. Constant contact with a person, another person, by phone, by mail, email, going to their house, walking by their house, driving by their house. That's what it is. And the only reason why some of you wouldn't think it's stalking is because you condone the behavior, such as the person doing the stalking, the stalker. That's why there are laws. You don't have to like it. And the only people that disagree with it, as I just said, is somebody who condones the behavior. But it's stalking. Because you don't really have a purpose to be standing out there. You can yell free speech all damn day. But are you serving a purpose? It's self-serving, so the purpose is only served for yourself. It's a nut that thinks like you. And I'm not here to argue with nobody about anybody being stalked and harassed. Because just like that shit that went on with Petito, that was a mess. And you all didn't think about those people that lived in the neighborhood. They had to come and go. They wanted peace and quiet. They're paying a mortgage. Those people had every right to peace and quiet. They don't have anything to do with what the hell was going on at House A. And when you're out there fussing and cussing and screaming and hollering and putting laundry baskets on somebody's property, you're disturbing the damn peace. So somebody's got to explain to you why that was wrong. There's something wrong with you. You may feel like it was right, but you're not thinking about the other people who live on the street. They have a right to privacy. They have a right to peace and quiet. They have a right to park their car. You don't have a right to block the street because you're mad at these people in this house over here. What do they have to do with that? They don't have anything to do with that. And you don't either. Whether you think what you're doing is right or not. It's wrong because you're causing a problem in the neighborhood. So therefore, if you're obstructing people to go and come into peace in the neighborhood, then how can it be right? It is what it is. Once again, I do believe they found something in Savannah pertaining to the child, either remains or articles. I just got information that something has been found down there. brought you information pertaining to police report from September that got this ball possibly jumped off between the participants of this house. I do believe Leilani did not want to pay child support to her mother. She had 3 children. I am curious to why Billy Joe didn't have custody of the baby girl. Is it because the father was there living in the house and would have obstructed that? What's the reason why she only had custody of the 2 boys? Was there a difference in how she treated the 2 boys and also the baby girl? What was the relationship like, truthfully, between Billy Joe and her daughter, the boyfriend? Did Leilani favor one child over the other? Did she only care for the infant girl by Mr. Youngkin? How did he treat her 3 children, Mr. Youngkin? Did he favor just his child over her 2 boy children? Or did he treat Zane better than baby Q? What is the truth to the relationship between Mr. Youngkin and the 3 children? Where does the step pawpaws come into this dysfunctional family? Did he get along with Leilani, stepfather? Did the stepfather get along with Mr. Youngkin? Vice versa. Did he even want her and the boyfriend there with the children as well? Because you have to remember, it's easy to say in relationships that it's a package, but it's not a package for me as a man or a woman to take in your grown children. That's not a package. A package would be a single woman dating kids. She starts dating a guy, or a guy has kids, outside kids, whatever. He's dating a woman. They get serious. They have a relationship. Hey, these are my children. They are part of me, extension of me. You accept me, you accept my kids. But one would wonder the stepfather's role in all of this as well. How did he feel about these grown-ass people living in his house and also 3 babies in tow? Arguments, stealing, theft. And what exactly did she ever steal from Billy Joe? And why didn't Billy Joe press charges against her? Because you hear in this commentary I brought you earlier, she doesn't have an extensive criminal record except for coming out of North Carolina for the theft of $20 from her previous job. So did she have a full-time job in Georgia? What was it? How long was she working? Was she a model employee? Did they have problems out of her? Did she show up on time? Did she do the job well? And the fact that $1,200 or so is being claimed as income to pay child support for the 2 children by mother and father, I find that an interesting number for both. Because what are the odds that 2 people make the same amount of money? Unless they work together on the same shift. So is Leilani claiming the father's income as her own? Brought you information about TikTok videos where 1 minute they seem happy, Billy Joe and Leilani, and then you see a child caged up, baby Q, on the outside on a carport, and then the 3-year-old is blowing bubbles. So what's this the norm? The child caged up a lot inside the house and outside of the house. Did Billy Joe favor one of the children more than the other? Did she even pay a lot of attention to the baby or Zane and the infant girl? Why is it he had no shirt on, caged up in that fencing outside, and then also running over by the stepfather, no shirt? Is this the same thing that the baby daddy said about Zane? No adequate clothing for the children. Because he stated to the son, his child only had winter clothes. Why is that? Is it because she didn't have money to afford clothes for her children, or she did other things with her money? And when you're dealing with an addict, they're not going to spend their money on appropriate items such as food, shelter, clothes, toilet paper, toiletries. And common sense should tell anybody in this viewing audience that Pampers and diapers and pull-ups for 3 children is expensive. Possibly half of a car note. What she's spending in diapers a week for 3 babies. You multiply $100+ a week in diapers, pull-ups. It's a lot of money. What she would have spent in diapers alone concurrently is a nice car note for a nice car. A nice SUV, a nice sedan. Stay woke. Now, factor in if you had to pay a car note, rent somewhere, water somewhere, electric somewhere, gas somewhere, health insurance for all of yourselves and children, food, shelter, toiletries, clothes. You would need an adequate source of income. And that's the gist of the story pertaining to the working class. Most of these people are just getting by, those who work and have multiple children. And some do live in subsidized housing or have a voucher because they can't afford market rent. And you're not paid enough to afford market rent and bills every month. It's just the way it is. You don't make enough. That's the obvious reason why she was living with Billy Joel. She couldn't afford to live on her own. And 2, she didn't want to live on her own. And this boyfriend didn't care to help her live on her own. He enjoyed the comforts of living off these people. So he is no way deemed substantial to take care of a child, Mr. Youngkin. I think that's obvious. Zane's father, we will see if he can even afford to travel back and forth to seek custody, because it would be expensive traveling out of state. And baby Q's father, where is he? What role has he played in his child's life? Has any of his family members, parents, played a significant role in the child's life? Obviously not, because you've heard no mention of any grandparents. Sending of clothes, money, gift cards. Where are the extended family of baby Q? Where are the extended family of boy Zane? And where is the extended family of baby Sky? And how did it come to be this child is dead? What is the motive? Was it premeditated? Intentional? Was it going to be this way down the road, even if the mother had not wanted them out of the house? Leilani filing a police report, Billy Joel wanting them out of the house? What if none of these things had happened and the baby still ended up missing and deemed dead by law officials? Was this inevitable? The child would end up dead. That is the question. Intentional homicide, accidental death covered up, abuse of a corpse discarded. Mother and boyfriend complicit. Boyfriend had knowledge thereof during and after. What is the motive? Does it matter? Will she ever admit the truth to what happened October 4th, October 5th? Will we find out that others had knowledge that the child was planned to be murdered and or afterwards, that he was discarded and where he's discarded? Did she tell anybody her plans? Did she tell anybody where she hid the body? Will there be other arrests alongside Leilani Simon? And most of us do believe Billy Joe Howell should be arrested for gross negligence of children. And I'd like to know, why not have custody of all three, since they weren't living in her house? But the gist of the story is she had no intention, it appears, to take care of the boys. So why sign the custody papers? It's a very sad story. And once again, it will be a story that you will hear again about abuse, drug use, fighting, theft, verbal altercations, gross negligence of children, people calling DHS, open case, shut case, a missing child, and then a child recovered. It's very sad. Very, very sad. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in this second live pertaining to this dysfunctional family and the blatant disregard for baby Q. Because I believe the signs were there all along that these children were neglected. And I don't know if maybe anything could have been done. Because sometimes it's easy to say when we are disgusted with a case, more should have been done. But if indeed law officials had knowledge of this household, DHS had knowledge of drug abuse by the mother, then what are we talking about? Because somebody in a law official capacity had to have knowledge that these people were all residing together and that Billy Joe had custody, because it's in that document that I just read where Leilani was filing a report that her and her mother had got into it on September 7th. So therefore, when the officer asked who had custody of the children, and why did he ask her to remove herself? Or did she say, I'll remove myself? Because what's odd about that is that was her house. So why would you remove yourself when you're wanting them out and you're telling the police that during this row between you and your daughter? So like to me, she would have told the police, well, I want them out of here. This is my house. I have the deed, or I paid the mortgage and I want them out of here. So why didn't Billy Joe make the daughter, boyfriend, and kids leave on September 7th? Why would you then leave yourself for a couple of days if indeed you wanted these people out of the house? Because if you don't have a binding lease, you could have set them out. Now, some states say so long as you get mail there for more than 30 days, you're considered a tenant. I don't know the laws in Georgia. But if I wanted these people out of my house, I'm frustrated with how they're treating my house, we're not getting along, they're not treating my house properly, then I will tell you to get your things and get out. But possibly she felt guilty because she knows this girl has 3 children. So if she puts them all out, she would possibly worry if the children would eat, be fed. But the thing is, you didn't know what was going on when you weren't there. And if we're to believe Miss McCarter, she was texting you often that things weren't right with Leilani and the children. So either way, you have to know of the neglect. You had to have known of the neglect, whether you were in the house or not. You had to have known. And somebody in an official capacity had to have known, because a month ago, the law was at the house. And I also don't understand the DHS findings in this document going around on YouTube about her using drugs after giving birth, testing positive. So how is it that once again, nobody knew she was around these children and inebriated? And when Billy Joe filed for custody rights of the boys, what did she tell them where Leilani was living? And did the state ask, well, where does your daughter live? Where does baby Sky's father, Mr. Youngkin, live? Nobody asked those questions. Oh, yeah, here's custody of the children. But nobody asks who all lives in the house. I want you all to think about that for a second. What were the circumstances to leave this woman to get custody of these children? You hear a document saying that she was known to use drugs, currently using drugs, but yet she stayed in that house with her kids and the mother and the stepdaddy brothers all alone, yet the parents stayed away from the house, so she had unlimited access to the children that she should not have had while being inebriated on drugs, narcotics, and nobody knew anything. Well, she knew she didn't have anywhere to go when she told her she wanted her to leave. That's why the story doesn't make any sense. To me, it's just a round and around guilt trip with these participants. She's got some kind of affection, love for her daughter, but possibly hates her daughter too. Threatens to throw her out, but don't throw her out. Because 9 times out of 10, you can't act like you don't know what's going to happen when you throw her out. She won't have nowhere to go. And if the kids go, how are you going to have legal custody? And if indeed you're getting anything from the state for the children, then that will be considered fraud. Because you have to notify the state of any changes in your household pertaining to the children and your income. Bingo card. Because I said she makes a decent pay. I doubt that she would be getting anything from the state of Georgia, but I don't know. But I know there are income guidelines to receiving medical, food stamps, and cash payments. And I can tell you now, I doubt Billy Joe will get cash payments for the 2 boys. If they gave her something to start off, maybe, but not long-winded. I would doubt that. But as I said, I could be wrong because I don't know the pay factor in the state of Georgia. But I know Tennessee has income guidelines like most states. And once you top at $13 an hour with 1 child, they ain't trying to give you nothing. And you know damn well Billy Joel made more than $13 an hour being a welder. If you'd like to donate to this great network, Everyday Shenanigans, $Beganji, 129 Cash App. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution and not the problem. Mind the children. You're entitled to your opinion about this story. I give my opinion because this one, my channel, and it's a commentary channel. And I don't sugarcoat anything over here about children, crime, or any other subject matter. And I don't condone foolish behavior where you act a donkey's ass in public. I don't give a damn what the reason is. If it is not affecting you directly, then you don't lash out. You have a personal altercation with somebody, you want to exchange words, that's different if it's pertaining to you. But this hee-hawing ass shit everybody's doing for likes and views is disrespectful. There's ways of bringing commentary about a situation, a person, a structure, without hooping and hollering and cussing and fussing, threatening, blowing through bullhorns and all that type of shit. That ain't a way to deliver a story. I've gone to several scenes, and never once did I bang on the people's doors, hoop and holler outside their house or the location of a crime scene. Because that's not the way you deliver the content. If you ask somebody a question they don't want to answer, you keep it moving. You inbox them, they don't want to respond, you keep it moving. They decline to talk to you after that first conversation, you keep it moving. You don't batter the people up and keep going in and out. That means you're thirsty. You need to find something else to do. Prayers for baby Q and his siblings. Praying that the children find a safe home, because it's looking like they're not with the aunt. I don't know. We say foster care can't be the aunt, because the aunt would be considered foster care. So this is why I tell people I don't put my stamp on he said, she said, unless I get definite information about any of the content released. And this is why you can't believe everything that's said on social media, because people lie. And if they're dealing with the story at hand, there's no way you can believe everything that they're saying, especially somebody that has something to lose, such as Billy Joe and Leilani and Mr. Youngkin. Once again, something's been found in Savannah, from my understanding. Someone contacted me. We'll wait to see if there will be any type of information coming out of Savannah, Georgia, pertaining to remains found of the child and or articles belonging to the baby. When I get an update, I will bring you that said information. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Have a good evening.